Welcome to Scale Model Basics. I'm Aaron Skinner, and I'm going to be assembling individual link tracks. Now, there are two different kinds that I'm going to be working with. The first kind are the individual link plastic links that are not designed to be workable. The second kind will be the workable kind. For the first type, I have this 1/35th scale Dragon Panther that comes with Dragon's patented magic track. The main difference between these and any other kind of plastic individual link tracks you'll find is that these are already separated from the parts trees. The other kind you'll have to cut off and you may need to clean up. Now I'm going to look at these once I get them out of the bag and make sure that there aren't any remains of sprue nubs that I'm going to have to trim off. But these are usually in pretty good shape. The first thing you're going to need if you are assembling these kind of tracks is a jig to assemble them. This kit doesn't have one, so I'm going to make one. For that, I have this sheet of thick styrene. This is 2mm evergreen, plain styrene. The next thing you'll need is a couple of pieces of square styrene tubing. This stuff is 5/16 inch. The nice thing about it is that it won't flex, so it will help maintain the alignment of your track runs. So the first thing I'm going to do is glue one of the pieces of square tubing to the styrene sheet. It doesn't have to be perfectly aligned because what matters is its alignment with the other one. So I'm just going to glue that in place. I'm using Tamiya quick setting cement so it dries quickly. Once that's in place, I'm going to take 3 pieces of the plastic track link. I'm going to set them at equidistant between the 2 tubes and push them together until there's resistance from the guide horns on the back of the tracks. Once you set those and you get the other piece of styrene tube aligned, then you can glue it in place. I'm going to let that set up for a few minutes so that the square tubing doesn't move around when I start working on the tracks. The jig is ready except for one final thing. I'm going to put some tape along each of the styrene pieces. Here, the tubing, so that we're going to use glue on these links on the jig, and you do not want the links sticking to your jig. That does not end well for anybody. Make sure you check your instructions before beginning assembly of the track runs. Most kits will tell you how many links you need for each side. This kit says 81 plus 8 more to go around the drive sprocket for a total of 89. Now, be prepared for that to be slightly wrong, either one way or the other. I find sometimes you need to take one out or add one to get exactly the sag you're looking for. There's always a little wiggle room in your track runs. So now I'm going to take each piece of track and just place it onto the jig. And you push each one together. It should sort of snap into place. Whoops. Yeah, that's always good. Keep tweezers handy to get them out from between the styrene tube. And then just keep going this way. I've got 36 on there so far. Ways to go yet, not even quite halfway. All right, so obviously I'm coming up a little short on my styrene. I'm still about 8 lengths short, which, as Tim is pointing out to me, it says 81 plus 8 more. I'm going with I want all 89 on a link. So the technique that I'm going to use to fix that is I'm going to go ahead and brush some slow setting cement. I'm using Mr. Cement here. You want slow setting cement because you want it to take time, leave the joins flexible, but stuck together enough that they will hold together when we maneuver them. Just want to get this into each of the joins. The other thing that this will allow you to do is push the track links a little tighter together, a little closer together. It will melt any little hang-ups of plastic that are separating the parts and allow for a tighter, closer fit. So there's glue in all of the joins. With that done, I'm going to go ahead and push these a little firmer together. Just make sure they're snug. And I'm going to let them sit for a few minutes. So with the tracks basically set up, they're sticking together but still flexible. I'm going to carefully pry them up. Running a pair of tweezers along underneath each edge will help. And then once they are up and not sticking anymore, you can just move them along. And you'll have room to put the last of the links in. Now that the last 8 links are in place, more glue. And I'm going to let that dry for about 15 minutes. All right, so this has had 15 or 20 minutes to set up, so I should be able to pick these up carefully. And as you can see, it is flexible, but holding together. Now you don't want to overflex it because that can happen, but just push it back together. You may find that the tracks will come apart a little bit on you, so the solution is flip them over. They should still be mostly together. Push them back together where they've broken and apply more glue on the inside surfaces where you can really get it into those joins. So I've let that set for another 10 minutes or so. I think it's ready to go. Let's give it a whirl. So I'm going to take my Panther and lower this into place around the top of it. Make sure that the dry sprocket, this is why you leave the dry sprocket movable, so that you can adjust it. And then you just very carefully wrap it. It should be flexible enough to do this. That was the point of the exercise. And then back at the idler as well. And ooh, we're actually got some overage. So let me checking the sag at the top, making sure it looks about right. And if I put these together, let's see what that looks like. You can see that it's not touching the idler at all. It's obviously a little loose, so I'm going to have to remove a few links to get it to adjust just right. But that, like I said at the beginning, that happens. Okay, so to adjust, I'm just going to separate where I push the unglued parts together. And I'm just going to see where I get it to where I want it. And it looks like if I remove 3 links, just again, no, that's 2. Let's see what 2 looks like. No, still 2. Take one more out, and let's see. I think this should probably be about right. Together. After testing, it's still a little too loose for my liking, so I'm going to take one more link out and then test it again. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. I'm going to push this down just a touch here, and actually I think that's about right. It's coming around the drive sprocket where we need it to be, it's around the idler where we need it to be, and it's running across the top of the road wheels, which the illustrations look like it should be doing. So I'm going to call that perfect. That track run looks like the pictures of Panthers, so I'm pretty satisfied with it. Now I'm going to leave it on the running gear overnight. The glue will set up, and tomorrow I should be able to pop it off, but it will maintain the shape of the track run. Now I can paint it separately, paint the hull. At the end of the build, I can add the tracks, and they will be in the shape that they should be. That sums up my technique for assembling individual link non-working plastic tracks. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.